Perfect result and another clean sheet for Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel. His assessment there was very honest and very calm, but that's 10 points now from the possible 12 in their opening matches. The only 2 points they dropped were when they were down to 10 men for 45 minutes at Anfield before the international break. How serious are they in terms of their title challenge?
Again, I think we started here, Kelly. This will be, if they keep Lukaku fit, and I would say now, what, we're 4 games in? He is their main man. I mean, because he is goals. And when you've got someone who gets you goals out of nothing, they weren't at the best today, but they've ended up winning 3-0 because you can score goals. Score goals can camouflage a poor display. I'm not saying Chelsea were poor today, but they weren't the dominant, always on the front foot Chelsea, attack after attack, efforts after efforts, making the goalkeeper make saves. They were still very impressive. Still very impressive. That first half, you have to give great credit to Aston Villa. They took the game to Chelsea. There was no inferiority complex going to the home of the team at the Champions League, the champions of Europe last year. So I see Chelsea as very, very dangerous, providing they can keep the main men fit and Lukaku being the main man of the main men.
The first thing he appeared to address was the defence. That's 22 clean sheets out of 35 in all competitions now under Thomas Tuchel. But compared to last season, when their conversion rate was 10%, which was 14th, it's now up to 17%, and they're second. Not only the second in that, second in the league as well.
Well, yeah, that was the missing piece. I mean, we saw last season, Timo Werner had a lot of opportunities to score, didn't take some of them, and that cost them points last season in some of the big games. But when you look at, obviously, defensively, I think no one's kept more clean sheets than them since Thomas Tuchel's been in charge of Chelsea. When you then look for their team where the weaknesses are, you'd say it was that one position which was centre forward, and you just sit there with the stats, they've addressed that. And when you've got someone like Lukaku, who is the finished article, we saw with his 2 finishes today, very different finishes, one on his right, one on his left. But not only that, it's his movement to create opportunities as well. And I think by him even moving, he's going to create opportunities for other people like Werner, Kai Havertz, people like with this type of movement. So that was the one missing piece of that jigsaw, was the centre forward. And not only did they get one, they got one of the best in world football.
You know what I really like about him, which we've not highlighted, but I mean, next time you watch him play, when there's a pass on that he feels he should get, his body language is perfect. He's applauding the guy for not giving it to him, if you like. It's not like throwing the hands in the air where you get some big players, showing frustration. He's a proper team player. I think he's grown up a lot since he's been in Italy. I've played in Italy. I went when I was an old boy, but for the young players, it's all about what the team does, and it's all about the team. That's the only thing that matters. And I think he's learnt that. And there was one particular incident in the second half when I think it was Ziyech didn't find him with an obvious pass, and then the camera went away, but I kept my eye on him, and he was applauding Ziyech for even attempting to get the ball to him. I think he's near enough the complete striker, because I come back to it. He's not brilliant at anything, but he's very good at everything.
But just in terms of his bearing, even the way he is in front of camera, he feels like not just a different player, but almost a different person from the one that left Manchester United. Yeah,
he looks like he's a lot more assured in himself now. I mean, yeah, you could talk about how he looks now in terms of his physique, that he's shrunk down a little bit, but he just looks really confident. He's in a happy place, it looks like it. And it looks like he's taken that experience that at Manchester United, that certainly the second season, because I think his first season he did well, scored a lot of goals. But it's like he's kind of forgot about that now. He's moved on, and he's just kind of matured in himself and just knows exactly where he is. He feels comfortable where he is, and I think he understands how good he is, and he's not going to let anyone doubt him. And certainly the way he started his Premier League season, who would argue against that?
Just to come back to the point
he's all grown up. He's all grown up. You've seen that in the interview. I remember, sorry to cut across you, but I remember interviews when he was at Man United, and it was laughing and joking, and then he would drag someone else into the interview, and it was like it was a bit of fun, it was a bit of a game. And now it's all serious. And I think that's what Italy's done to him. And there must be an element, he'll have a lot of pride. You can see that in the way he plays football. There's unfinished business for him at Chelsea. That his first goal at Stamford Bridge, which is astonishing because he wasn't a bad player when he was younger either. But there'll be an element that he feels is unfinished business for him, that he still has to prove a point to some doubters that are at Chelsea. But I see him as the difference between them being a near miss in the league this year. And again, there's no guarantee, but if he was to stay fit, they're going to come very, very close, Kelly.
And as much as this is about personal pride and personal achievement for him, just quickly, Darren, on what you said earlier about him bringing other players to the fore who may have struggled since they came in at Chelsea, like Timo Werner.
Yeah, Timo Werner was brought to be the main man, and it didn't work out. You'd have to say, although that you could argue and say they won the Champions League, so it kind of did. But in terms of Lukaku, just his physical presence, they can play a bit different. And for Timo Werner, he no longer has to be the main man. He can kind of play second fiddle to Lukaku, still get his fair share of goals, and that might just free him up a little bit. And certainly with Lukaku, with his movement, attracting players, that's going to leave space for like the Timo Werners and Kai Havertz.
See defenders playing against him. The guy who was immediately in his vicinity, as we saw with Mings with that throw-in where he's tried to nick it because he didn't want to get involved in a wrestle-up with him. Because of his power, it's one he's going to lose, as anyone would lose. So it's not just the guy that's marking him will be panicking, but his mate that's standing alongside him will be thinking, I've got to get maybe a yard closer than I would normally, and that might just open it up for other players. I know that might be... But if that happens time and time in a game, over 9 months, there'll be openings that would normally be there with a different type of centre-forward.